I will request now our keynote paper presentation, Mr. Razaul Hasanat David. I would like to give a few things about Mr. David, otherwise it will not fulfill. Mr. David Hasanat, he has a lot of innovation. He did it by himself, like carbon, like CO2 reduction, #1. He has the best of the best factories in Bangladesh. He has a green factory and he has a lot of CSR in his factory, and he's doing such a big brand in Bangladesh. We are really very proud, and we are saying a lot of Bangladesh's factories, when they are going, the buyers, when they are going to his factory, they don't believe that this is Bangladesh. So Mr. David Hasanat is our pride. Mr. David Hasanat is really, he's giving a lot of message, especially for the environmental, and he has get a lot of awarded as well from the abroad as well. So thank you very much, Mr. David, and I'd like to give a thanks from BGMA as well from CEBAI. When I call you, you said, I think, but definitely I will come, and I think that today's we are all looking how your keynote paper is presentation and what is the importance of this role of CEBAI as well. Thank you very much.
President CEBAI, Abdul Bhai, basically Center for Excellence, other guests, and my colleagues. Assalamu alaikum and good morning. Today I'll give the keynote presentations. I mean, I request you, everybody, you have the in your folder, you have this copy of the documents, and I don't want to read out these keynote papers because we have the hard copy. Instead of that, let me discuss the point-wise. It is better rather than read out everything. So basically, as we know, today's discussion point is $50 billion export and CEBAI role. What is the CEBAI? Center for Excellence. As we know, Bangladesh, 2015, we just graduated from the low-income country to low-middle-income country. That means our income level has increased $1,500 levels. And obviously that $1,500 level increment definitely give us some sort of boost. We inspire how to take ourselves to the middle-income country. That means $5,000 income level. So that is the main, I would say, the introduction of the main inspiration, the driving force. That is, from lower income country to lower middle income country, now our target is how to we reach the middle income country. Obviously, the Bangladesh, one of the largest garment exporting country, almost $30 billion, about $28 billion export, and almost in these sectors, 75 to 80% female workers engaged. So what does it mean? That means the very, if you look in broader spectrum, that the female empowerment is happening in this industry. And very interestingly, generally we know the RMG sector's contribution to our GDP is 13 to 14%, but this is very straightforward. But this is not the 13 to 14%. If you look at slightly, broader aspect, this 13 to 14% has a ripple effect, or multiplier effect. That means the people who is earning from this sector, they are even reinvesting. Like if you look at the bakery shops, if you look at the toiletry shops, industries, these industries actually evolving and they are growing from this industry. That means 13% probably we are seeing the direct effect, but actual implication or actual effect is much more than the 30% of GDP. Even though, as we know, 25% or 28% GDP's contribution is our agriculture. But I'm sure, if the agency has some sort of access or knowledge, they can see even the agriculture sectors, that RMG sector's contribution directly or indirectly is happening. Let's put this way, I know few of our workers, they bought the power tillers from their savings and using that power tiller in farming. That means that $28 billion GDP's contribution of agriculture indirectly is benefiting from the garment sector, apparel sector. So from this inspiration, basically we plan how to reach even bigger level. And from these middle income levels, the BGME also aspire how to reach $50 billion, export by 2021. And obviously, many cases we are quite skeptical that $50 billion by 2021 is impossible. But to tell you frankly, being a manufacturer, I can tell you it's not a very big target. Obviously, the middle income country became a middle income country by, $5,000 reaching by 2021, a bit challenging. I would say this is our aspiration, and aspiration always drives from the heart, not from the head. So a lot of emotion is involved with the aspiration. So this is our aspiration. We aspire to be middle income country. So of course it is not the purely logic number is driving these numbers. It's a lot of emotions engaged on that. But obviously there's a lot of numbers or the facts and figures there. That means, obviously the $5,000 per capita income, middle income country by 2021 might be challenging. But being a manufacturer, I can tell you, $50 billion by 2021 is not a challenge. We can achieve that level. It is quite possible. What are the challenges? Of course, it is not so easy that being a very early 80s, the garment manufacturing started from this country and reached to that level is not so easy, obviously. And as we know, Bangladesh is one of the country. It is like a Japan. We don't produce any cotton, but we are the largest cotton consuming country. Look at the Japan. They are the largest steel consuming country, producing the steel industrialist country. They don't have single steel source, raw materials. So we are like a Japan. We don't have, we hardly have any source of cotton, but we are one of the largest cotton product producing country, apparel manufacturing country in globally. And you'll be surprised that we are one of the largest cotton importing countries nowadays. The reason is because the country is growing, country is aspiring. The entrepreneurs, the manufacturers, they are actually driving this. This driving force is basically these entrepreneurs. Obviously, we are getting the support from the government, but no doubt this is the entrepreneurs. It is their credit, I would say. So this is this $28 billion or $30 billion which we are currently. That is, I would say, the phase one. How can we reach phase two, the next level? If you look at the rocket launching, historically, like 20 years back, the phase one, phase two, one of the booster is, take the next level. So we need the second booster to take this $30 billion to next level. So to switch on that second booster, few of the things are very important. Working conditions, especially the occupational health and safety, the environment issues. Being entrepreneurs, definitely we are quite, I would say, our business mentality quite classical, because unfortunately, I would say our next generation yet to significantly engage on this business. As we know, it's very rare that entrepreneur became a successful CEOs. Actually, we need the successful CEOs. The successful CEO, the CEO can only understand the real requirement, what world needed nowadays. Obviously, a lot of our manufacturers, a lot of the companies still quite skeptical about the compliance issues, which they think is a buyer's requirement, which we know is not, is a law of the land. But being an entrepreneur, we think this is the customer requirement. But I'm sure our next generation, if they engage this business, they can realize this is law of the land, this is the global requirement. Look after my worker, look after our worker, workforce. It's not that we are doing for others. We look after our business. So these are the things, definitely these are the areas we need to look at. And few of the other points, definitely you can go to the other point I can put on my papers, like the skills. Skill, we always talk about our workers' efficiency, skill. Obviously, BGME is not only working, the government is working, but let me put this to it, like Donald Rumsfeld, once he said that there's a lot of things we know, it's called non-known. We know that we know these things. There is another thing called known unknown. That means we know a lot of things which we don't know. I mean, there is some unknown which we know we don't know. But there is another thing called unknown unknown. That means there is a lot of unknown which even we don't know. So I would say the Center for Excellence, their responsibility will be to disclose this unknown. The BGMA or the garment manufacturer, a lot of cases, they don't know what they need to know. It's unknown. So the more we can explore this unknown, then we'll be more successful. We take this industry to the next level. Skill is definitely one of the areas. I mean, obviously the training requirement, the trained workers and the way we're training, there's a huge mismatch that things need to be developed. Obviously, not only the government, the other, agencies like not only the ILO, other agencies need to come up their best possible support to how to develop this workforce more efficient, to contribute, and eventually they can take the business, we can take the business to the next level. And obviously the infrastructure is, we always complain, port facilities, energies, but I would say the way we are complaining, this is, I would say, is a 50% correct, 50% not correct. Because, I mean, historically we pamper so much with the, let's say, gas supply or other support. That's why we're a bit upset when this thing is, some shortage of these areas. But if you look at the other part of the world, other part of the world, people are, manufacturers is not getting the, energies or these facilities very easily. So they are struggling and they are doing their business on this area. So definitely from the government side, these facilities need to be improved, but same time we need to improve our mindset as well. That is not, this is the realities. And if we can cry, we will not get the solution. We have to develop ourselves, like how to get the energies. Of course, lot of not for the sustainable reason, for your survival reason. We have the almost 300 days, 320 days of solar. The sunlight. So we can use the sunlight. Solar power now is very cheap, very competitive. So let's say put this way, we have a cancer. There are two options. Either we can take the expensive medicine or we can die. So let's say we have the energy or the infrastructure issues. What are the remedies? Either expensive energy solutions, generators, solar powers, or we can stop the business. The choice is ours. Definitely choice is ours. We have to take ourselves and being a, of course, the democratic government should come their highest possible level of support to, how to improve these levels. And as I said, the government is actually put this target. We like to take ourselves from the middle income country. So from this government target, we aspire that we like to take ourselves $50 billion level. So it is obviously government should come up with this kind of facilities. Market diversification, access to market, of course, this is our responsibility, the manufacturer responsibility. But as I say, unknown. BGMA doesn't know how to get access to the new market. BGMA doesn't know how to diverse their product. BGMA, I'm talking of the lot of manufacturers. So from these areas, of course, Center for Excellence play the significant role. They can work as a think tank. They can do their research, they can do their studies, they can help, they can share the knowledge, they can, and in the workshop for the manufacturer, for the BGMA team member, how to improve, how to get access to the other market. Let's say a lot of cases, let's put this way, the big insurance company, they train their people how to sell the insurance, like marketing purpose. The same way, BGMA can train the Center for Excellence can train the manufacturers how to improve your marketing skill, how to get to other country. Unfortunately, most of the countries we only speak in one language, the English. but there's a lot of language. I mean, if we want to get to access the huge South American market, we need to speak in Spanish. Not even Portuguese, at least we need to speak in Spanish. We need to communicate somehow with the Spanish language. China is a big market, we're exporting, but we don't speak in Chinese language. We need some Chinese interpreter, we need some word with the Chinese. Of course, Japan is another market. So, market diversity, without understand that language, that culture, how can we expect that we can, enter that market? And Center for Excellence, their role, I would say, to guide BGME to manufacturer to develop this skill. If we can develop this skill, if we, let's say, if we make good greetings to the, let's say, Japanese people or the, let's say, Spanish people with their language, I'm sure, we'll get 10% immediate plus mark. Then we can start the, sales talk, right? So this is language is a big issue, I would say. This kind of skill need to develop to diversify the market, to enter the new market. Political stability, we always know if there is a political instability, always customer, especially the customer level, they always feel shaky. Even the manufacturers, being the garment manufacturer, we became shaky, whether we can really continue our business, we really expand our business or not. So political stability is obviously one of the big issues we need to look at. Lack of research, obviously, as I mentioned already, the research is needed. And why research is needed? To disclose the unknown unknown. So disclose the unknown research is the must. From this, as I said, from this point, definitely, Center for Excellence, we need the one organization who can help. As we know, there's a think tank in our country play a big role on the economy, like the CPD, right? They discuss about the budget, before budget, after budget, how budget should be. They actually challenge the government, they criticize the government, some of the cases. The same kind of think tank we believe, Center for Excellence play that kind of role. They can not only give the advice, they can even do the criticism to the manufacturer as well. This is the wrong. We shouldn't, or the manufacturer shouldn't do these things. So they can do all, positive and negative, both the roles they can play. But we need someone from outside, someone can guide, someone can give us that kind of, I would say, guidance. And from that perspective, actually, BGMEA established the CEBAI in 2014 with the support of Swedish, CEDA, and the ILO and the H&M. The institution has a collaboration with the University of Dhaka and Kuwait, and has their representing the CEBAI board. To have a contribution from the government and the workers, the chairman of Bangladesh Technical Education Board, Director of Technical Education, and the chairman of NCCWER also include this board, the Center for Excellence Board. Center for Excellence Board was launched by the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, as a private in December 2014. And the importance the government attached to this, the institution has been set up at Ashulia. Still we have planned to set up the Ashulia House, RMG factories, while the head office is located at the Dhaka BGME office. So, from that perspective, Prime Minister actually inaugurated this Center for Excellence 2014. I would say, unfortunately, is inaugurated 2014. Last 2 years, there's not a significant improvement has happened, or we are unable to play a significant role, that Center for Excellence. But I would say, from that point to there is a roundtable discussion. How can we take forward this Center for Excellence? How can we work effectively, meaningfully? As you know, the government in Bangladesh and the development partners have focused on the skill development to reduce poverty and take the country to the stage of development. The RMG sectors, as you know, one of the largest sectors, and almost 4 million people engage on these sectors directly, and another 4 to 6 million people indirectly engage in this business. They are actually benefiting from these sectors. These different kind of funds. Obviously, the government sector and the donor agency is supporting to develop the skill. But we need to keep in mind that these funds need to be used effectively and efficiently to make Bangladesh a location that is sought after for the human capital and not just for the low-cost laborers. I mean, we need to spend this fund to develop the human capital, not to develop our skill how to produce the cheap garment. That is my message. That is my message. I mean, we need to develop our the total human capital. Very interestingly, like when globally the garment factory, apparel sector, any issues come, immediately Rana Plaza is a big issue. But I'm sure, I mean, very few of, even in Bangladesh, you know that the globally top 3 green factory in Bangladesh. Not only that, out of 10 top factory in the world, 7 is from Bangladesh. We never expose these things. We always say Rana Plaza, we always say Tuba Garments, but we never say that. Just look at the, I mean, globally, top 3 factory, 1, 2, 3 in Bangladesh, and out of 10 factory, out of 10 green factory, 7 in Bangladesh. So how many of us take this pride or take this to the globally that we are the country? I mean, we started business late 80s. Obviously, we have some bad patch, like Rana Plaza or some the Toba Garments, that I would say the bad patch. But there is plenty of good examples, like top 10, 7 factory, green factory. And where this green factory, the country who is emitting only 0.45% per capita carbon emission. Look at the other part. Like, let's say, I don't want to mention the name, the other country who is supplying the apparel sector, their per capita carbon emission 7-8 metric tons. At least no one nearer to us. We're the only country in this level, let's say China, India, Sri Lanka, Vietnam. We are the only country, our per capita carbon emission less than 1 metric ton. But we're the only country, we have 7 top 10 green factory, sustainable green factory in the world. Don't you think this is one of the proudest part in the world? I mean, we can take this to the world that, hey, look at us, we're the country, we have the 7 top factory, out of 10 top 10 factory, we have, it is in Bangladesh. But unfortunately, as I said, I mean, we yet to take this pride, or let's say BJMEA or our garment manufacturer yet to take this to in global arena. I would say these kind of things, obviously, if the Center for Excellence can showcase globally, communicate with the donor agency, communicate with the others world, that of course we have some bad patch, as I said, but look at the brighter part. This is the brighter part, and obviously, that can help us a lot. Traditionally, we are a garment manufacturer, or we known as a cheap garment manufacturing country. But that's not it. As I said, this is the level 1. If we want to take ourselves level 2, $50 billion or even more, definitely we need to enter ourselves to the second level. So what is the second level? Second level is definitely not only the manufacturing the garments. We need to provide the garment solution, apparel solution. We need to change ourselves that we are not only sells the garment, we sell the garment solutions, end-to-end solutions. Customer can make a wish, or we can create their wish, and based on their wish, we have to supply the garments. How is it possible? Design, of course, design is one of the part, development. And if we, not only we can create the design to supply to the customer designing product, we can go even beyond that levels. So nowadays, I would say only our less than 2% export is actually driven by the manufacturers with the design. But that level definitely we need to develop as soon as possible. To reach to the second level, as I said, still I'll come many times the second level tied to if we need to take ourselves tier 2 level, then we have to develop our designing skill very much. We have to provide the service solution, garments solution, not the garments per piece of garments. We cannot remain ourselves tech pack supplier. We have to be a full service supplier, full solution providers. I mean, end to end. I mean, not only the garments, sewing, tailoring shop. Garments, we don't know ourselves as a tailoring country. We don't know ourselves as a tailoring factory. We are the solution provider. We develop the design, we present the design, customers choose our design, and they'll buy our product. So unless we develop ourselves at that level, we cannot take the country on the 50 billion on that level. To reach the $50 billion level is very important, and other things only the organic growth is not possible. Or if we grow organically, then 50 billion and above will be quite difficult. So we have to develop ourselves organically as well as inorganically. I mean, that means not only the product itself, I mean, of course, a lot of intangible, a lot of other services, value need to be had on. I mean, let's put it this way. I mean, like, you know, I mean, very recently, any kind of, I mean, functions or any kind of occasion, we just had what is it called? Event management company. 20 years back, no one knew the event management company. We used to have the microphone, we used to have the decorator, we used to have a lot of things, right? And pay individually. That was not the best possible way. Nowadays, of course, we are paying a little more, but we are hiring the event management company, and event management company providing everything. What type of stage you need, what type of light you need, what type of the sound system you need. Even they can provide the sound engineer, light engineer, you just name it. And of course, the client, customer love to hire those. So, you know, even look at ourselves, I mean, 20 years ago, the way the marriage ceremony happened, nowadays things has changed. So, of course, I mean, if we can change from like to hire that microphone or the chair tables, decorators, to that event management company, same way we have to change ourselves. Only not to sell the garments, we have to sell the solutions, the end-to-end service. And if we can provide end-to-end service, $50 billion, not a big deal at all. So this is the, as I said, this is the tier 2, I mean second level. And this is obviously probably more expression, but obviously, I mean, today this roundtable, we can discuss even tier 3, 1 or tier 3. What is the tier 3? Tier 3 is, I believe, we can create the inspiration. We can act as a catalyst to create the inspiration. Like, I mean, customers send us the inspiration. Based on the inspiration, we develop the design. Currently, like a few of the factories who provide the design to customer, how they develop the design. Basically, they send the inspiration, mood board, to the factory, to the manufacturer. Based on the mood board, based on the inspiration, we develop the design and we present the design presentation. So this is, I would say, the tier 2. What is the tier 3? Tier 3 is how this inspiration created. See, we need to enter how to create the inspiration to the customers. I mean, that means we have to attain that, let's say, fashion show, New York fashion show, I mean, Paris fashion show, Intertextile, I mean, create, I mean, to help to customers how to create the inspiration. So if we can engage ourselves to act as a catalyst to create the inspiration, definitely the country can enjoy, I mean, successfully not only $50 billion, we can be #1, I mean, garment supply someday. And from that aspect, I mean, Center for Excellence can play or need to play significant role, because garment manufacturer, like just before this session, I talked to a few of my colleagues. Their factory in Ashulia, they struggle with some of the labor issues. I mean, not only labor, some of the labor issues, some of the cases, the banking issues, import issues. So manufacturers always busy with their day-to-day work. I mean, obviously that's their job, that's their business. So this final part, niche part, who's going to look at the Center for Excellence. So they can look at this part. They can do the research. They can collect the facts and figures. They can arrange this training program, and only then possible to take the industry Tier 2 or Tier 3 level. There's obviously few of the suggestion, that is here, few of the points I can read out. And basically, the Center for Excellence can help to be one institution with a focus on research, training, and the information on the RMG sector, BGMA. To respiratory and the knowledge bank for the world of apparel. To carry out the research, as I already discussed, on matters relating to the apparel. Providing the consultancy service, of course, conduct the training, assessment of the RMG factories. It is very important to assessment. As I say, Center for Excellence not only work as a positive guidance, they work like a parents. If there is wrong issues, if there is any negative aspect for any manufacturer, they should assess, they can guide, that you manufacturer, you cannot run this company this way. So that kind of, criticism also, the Center for Excellence, somehow their wings or some of their division can provide this kind of services as well. And of course, training for the trainers, because they cannot do training regular basis, rather than if they create the trainer, create for the training for the trainer, that trainer can help the factory continuously. So it is very important. Harmonize and standardization the training being the conduct under various donor fundings. Then conduct and arrange training for workers, mid and top level staff. As we know, we always, not only the worker skill, we always complain about the mid-level management issues, and it will be surprised, or I don't know whether the knowledge, we spend $5 billion for our expat management team. What does it mean? The country is currently exporting $30 billion. No doubt, you know very well, the garment manufacturer, the highest level, probably the highest level, they are making 10% profit. That means out of $30 billion, taking all the risk, the entrepreneur making $3 billion. But these entrepreneurs spending $5 billion, double their profit for an expat. That means there's a huge gap. We need to understand, we are taking profit only less than $3 billion out of $30 billion, taking all the risks, the labor issues, banking issues, and the manufacturing issues, all kind of things, right? So from that kind of challenges, the entrepreneur is making or keeping $3 billion or less than $3 billion. But this entrepreneur, spending more than $5 billion for this expat. So there's a huge gap. There's no doubt there's a huge gap, because on the mid-level and top-level management areas. That training needed, and also institutions like the universities need to add on in their curriculum how to contribute to this apparel sector and the textile sectors. And also the environment issues, and of course workplace safety, as I said, EHS, because environment is the big issues globally. And not only the environment reason, like you have to be sustainable, as I mentioned, not for the environment reason, for survival reason we have to be environment friendly country. If we don't have that luxury to be a environmental companies. So for ourselves, for our sustainability, business sustainability, we have to be environment friendly companies. And finally, one-stop help desk that can provide to the garment sector. Center for Excellence has started the operation recently, as I mentioned. Financial and administrative support of the development partner, but it is yet to reach the full potential. At this stage, CEBAI influence in attaining the target of $50 billion RMG export, and is very minimal, is achieved. However, it has potential to be a international institutional backup, the RMG sector need to support BGMA to lead the nation in export to transform the country into middle income country. You have this, keynote paper in your, folders. Definitely, if you have, I would request from the Center for Excellence, if you have any thoughts, any kind of suggestion, we'll discuss this point. Thank you very much.